Types of exceptions. First one, checked exceptions. Second one, unchecked exceptions. Types of exceptions. First one, checked exceptions. Second one, unchecked exceptions. First, I'll give notes. Note down. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called the exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked exceptions. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked exceptions. Next point, checked exceptions do not include java.lang.runtime exception class, checked exceptions do not include java.lang.runtime exception class and its subclasses. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked exceptions. Checked exceptions do not include java.lang.runtime exception class and its subclasses. Checked exceptions do not include java.lang.runtime exception class and its subclasses. Next point, all checked exceptions must be handled by programmer explicitly. All checked exceptions must be handled by programmer explicitly. Otherwise, compile time error occurs. All checked exceptions must be handled by programmer explicitly. Otherwise, compile time error occurs. All checked exceptions must be handled by programmer explicitly. Otherwise, compile time error occurs. The Java compiler checks try and catch blocks or throws clause for this kind of exceptions. The Java compiler checks try and catch blocks or throws clause for this kind of exceptions. Next, all application specific exceptions. All application specific exceptions comes under this category. All application specific exceptions are comes under this category. Okay. See. This is about checked exceptions nodes. Next, unchecked also I'll give. Later I'll explain. Unchecked exceptions. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.runtime exception class are called unchecked exceptions. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.runtime exception class are called unchecked exceptions. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.runtime exception class are called unchecked exceptions. Handling unchecked exceptions are handling unchecked exceptions are optional by programmer because all unchecked exceptions are handled by system implicitly. Handling unchecked exceptions are optional by programmer because all unchecked exceptions are handled by system implicitly. Handling unchecked exceptions are optional by programmer because all unchecked exceptions are handled by system implicitly. Unchecked exceptions are handled by programmer explicitly. Unchecked exceptions are handled by programmer explicitly to display user-friendly error messages only. Unchecked exceptions are handled by programmer explicitly to display user-friendly error messages only. Unchecked exceptions are handled by programmer explicitly to display user-friendly error messages only. The Java compiler does not check try and catch blocks or throws class for these kind of exceptions. The Java compiler does not check try and catch blocks or throws clause for this kind of exceptions. All general exceptions are comes under this category. All general exceptions are comes under this category. What are the points I given? These all I have to explain. Just you observe types of exceptions. Now I given notes. Just you see the notes and give answer first of all. Later I'll explain. After giving answers, I'll explain. How many types of exceptions are there? 2 types. What are those? Checked, unchecked. Which are checked exception? The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked. Which are unchecked exception? Java.lang.runtime exception class are called unchecked exception. Which type of exceptions are mandatory to handle? Checked exception. If we don't handle, what will happen? Compile time error occurs. Is it compulsory to handle unchecked exception? No. What purpose will handle? To display user-friendly error message only. Now, Java compiler checks try and catch blocks or throws class for which kind of exception? Checked. Unchecked exception doesn't check. That's the reason only checked, unchecked. Compiler checking for try catch block, that is checked. Compiler not checking, that is unchecked. All application specific exceptions are checked exception. All general exceptions are unchecked exception. Okay. These all I have to explain. First of all, you see yesterday one program I given. That program only I'll take. Now, command line arguments. Command line arguments you studied. The arguments that are passed at the command prompt are called command line arguments. Command line arguments, which type received? Say Java demo, here I'll pass 1020. These are which type? String type, because command line arguments are received by main method. Main method parameter string type. Okay. Now, string to integer if you want to convert. Which method we use? ParseInt. ParseInt method in which class? Integer class. Is it instance method or class method? Class method. You have to call with class name. What is the return type? Integer. What we have to write? Int x equal to integer dot parseInt args of 0. Args of 0 which type? String type. Int y equal to integer dot parseInt args of 1. Okay. Integer z equal to x by y. Say like this, if you give answers, advanced Java nothing. Very simple. Okay. If you are able to give answer means later you are able to write programs. Now, just after exception handling only application development. At that time, I'll ask question, you have to give answer. With your answers only, I'll write the programs. In advanced Java also same. With your answers only, I'll write the program. I'll ask questions every day. Whatever you studied, all if you remember, possible. It is possible. So up to exception handling, you need to remember subject. Later, no need to remember. Just programs. After exception handling, everyday task only. Everyday application part only. Okay. Application part is very less in core Java, but total advanced Java application only. Okay. Core Java, 70% of that subject only language. Up to exception handling only 70%. Remaining 30% is there. So almost 70% subject completed. Okay. Remaining 30% subject is there. Advanced Java, total application only, 100% application part only. But here language, application, both are there. But there only application. Okay. Now, this is you studied. You already studied. Now I'll ask one question. Give me answer. In this program, how many predefined methods we used? In this program, how many predefined methods we used? Now first count. How many predefined methods we used? 3 or 2 or 1 or any other? 2. Any other? 1. Any other? 4 also? Now, my question is, how many predefined methods we used in that program? How many predefined methods? Predefined, that means already defined. Already defined methods, how many we used? 7 also. 3, 4, 7, 0, 8. My question, how many predefined methods we used? Count the number of predefined methods. Okay. At least what are the methods? ParseInt is predefined. Okay. Next. Which one? Println predefined. Next. Main method predefined or user defined? No. I think with this only you got confusion. Now, main method is predefined or user defined? Predefined? Where it is defined? Which class defined? No. Okay, 1 minute. ParseInt method in which class defined? Integer class. Main method where it is defined? Demo class. But demo class is predefined class or user defined class? Demo class is user defined class. That means main method is user defined. We are writing open brace, close brace. Main method is not predefined. Main name only fixed. Only name reserved. But method defining here only. This is a definition. Open brace, close brace you are writing means you are defining. You are not writing open brace, close brace means already defined. For parseInt method, are you writing like this? Like this, integer parseInt. Like this. Are you writing like this? Are you writing? No, it is already defined. We are calling. This line is called method call statement. Method call statement, no? It is also method call statement. It is also method call statement. It is method. parseInt method we are calling. Here println method we are calling, but main method we are not calling. Operating system is going to call. So this is defined in demo class. Demo class is our class, user defined class. We defined, not predefined. Okay. So main method myself I defined in demo class. It is user defined method, but name declared. Main name is fixed. That is not only Java, in every language. C also, C++ also, Java also, Python also, C# also, everywhere. In Python also, main method implicitly present. Without main, program is not possible under operating system. So here, how many predefined methods are? Two only. Here, args of 0 dot to string, implicitly called no? Dot to string. Dot to string. It is implicitly called or not? Here, args of 0 is a reference of whenever object or object reference passed to method. To string method called is studied, no? So three predefined methods: parseInt, println, toString. ToString doesn't appears, but implicitly present. Okay. So three predefined methods we used. One is parseInt, one more toString, one more println. ParseInt 2 times we used, toString 2 times we used, println 1 time we used. Here also toString is there? Is there? No, because Z is which type? Int type. toString not there. Object or object reference, then only toString. Args of 0, is it object reference or not? Yes, object reference. Then toString called. Now, parseInt method predefined, toString method predefined, println method predefined. Now, suppose if I give any Java program, if I give any Java project, or if I give any Java program, if I ask, just identify predefined methods. If I ask, can you identify or not? Yes or no? Possible, no? You are writing open brace, close brace means you are defining. You are defining. You are not writing means predefined. You are calling. Now, this is predefined, this is predefined, this is predefined. Three predefined methods we used in this program. ParseInt method in which class? Integer class. Is it instance method or class method? Which class? Integer class. We used a class name. First, I'll open parseInt. Java p java.lang.integer. I'll open. Here parseInt method is there. Here parseInt method. You observe. Is it instance method or class method? Because static. Is it accessible? Because public. What is the return type? How many parameter? Which type? Will it throw exception? Yes, because throws keyword. That means one exception is there. Which exception? Number format exception. Okay. Now, toString method. It is which class toString method? String class. I'll open toString. In string class, on toString method is there. Now, here string class. Here, will it throw exception? No. Okay. Till this is I didn't explain. I didn't explain. Just in a 4-5 days, that is also I'll explain. Println method in print stream class, that is an IO package. Here println method. Println. println. This method we call integer method. Is there any throws? No. That means total how many predefined methods are there? 3. What are those? ParseInt, toString, println. In these 3, how many methods throwing exception? 1. Which method? Which exception? Number format exception. So whether exception is there or not, you can identify like this. This is one way. I'll explain. Many are there. I'll show you. Now, while writing Java program, definitely we use Java library. Without library, application development is not possible. You may write whatever I'm giving assignment, no, that is you can write. Assignment programs. That is logic you are writing. Calculating factorial, square root, Armstrong number, perfect number, these all. But that is not application. That is only to improve your logical skills, C language logics, that's it. That purpose I given. Non-IT students will be there to improve skills, that is I given. Okay? Now, but a Java means internet application, enterprise application, mobile application, distributed application, that type applications will develop. Those are compulsory. We have to use predefined methods. Without predefined method, developing application is not possible. Now, this predefined method throwing exception. Like that, you can identify exception. Okay. After identifying, what you have to do is, you have to find out whether it is checked or unchecked. You have to find out. Now, parseInt method throws number format exception. ParseInt method throws number format exception. But number format exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. You have to find out. How to find out, I'll show you. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.runtime exception class are called unchecked. That means number format exception derived from which class you have to find out. Say Java P, java.lang.runtime exception. Sorry. Java P, java.lang.number format exception. Now, here, public class java.lang.number format exception extends java.lang.illegal argument exception. Exception not there, runtime exception not there. Which is there? Then what you have to do? Again, you have to check. That may be multi-level. Okay. Next. Java P java.lang.illegal argument exception. Illegal argument exception extends java.lang. That means checked exception or unchecked exception? Unchecked exception. Is it compulsory to have system handle simplicity? Now, if I give any application, that application requires library. That method throwing exception or not, you have to see. If it is throwing, whether it is checked or unchecked, you have to see. If it is checked, write try catch block. If it is unchecked, don't write. That is only exception handling. Now, whether it is checked or unchecked, you have to identify. If it is checked, compulsory you have to write try catch block. If you don't write, compile time error occurs. If you don't write. Okay. If it is unchecked exception, it will compile. System handles. Okay. Now, this is little bit confusion concept. For understanding, you will get a more clarity in one more class. Today, tomorrow also, day after tomorrow also, you'll understand. Okay. Now, here, I'll take one sample. Like this, thousands of exceptions are there. Thousands are there. Like you cannot remember all. Okay. See, thousands of exceptions are there. One sample I'll take. Suppose, which is superclass for all Java classes? Object class. Okay. Object class is a super class for all Java classes. From object class, one class derived, that class name is called throwable. From throwable class, one more class derived, exception. From exception class, hundreds of classes derived. Some examples I'll take. SQL exception. Interrupted exception. IO exception. Runtime exception. Index out of bounds exception. Note down this hierarchy. Array index out of exception. Arithmetic exception. Illegal argument exception. Number format exception. Ready, son? Complete hierarchy note down. These are just sample. Thousands of exceptions are there. Okay, thousands of exceptions are there. Is it over? No. In this diagram, now you observe. First, notes you observe again, notes you see. Checked exception. What is the first point I given? See, the exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called. That means all are derived from exception only, no? All are derived from exception class only. Okay, but one more point I given. Second point. Checked exceptions do not include runtime exception class and its subclasses. So this class not included. This subclass is not included. Okay. See, according to first point, all exceptions are checked only. But second point also is there. The checked exception do not include runtime exception and its subclasses. So only this part is checked exceptions. These are checked exceptions. These are checked exception. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked exception. Checked exceptions do not include java.lang.runtime exception class and its subclasses. Okay. So with 2 points, this is not included. This subclass is not included. Okay. With these 2 points, this is not included. These all not included. Now, unchecked exception. What is the definition I given? See, the exception classes that are derived from java.lang.runtime exception class. Runtime exception subclasses. That means these all. These all unchecked exceptions. These are unchecked exceptions. Checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions. Okay. The exception classes that are derived from java.lang.exception class are called checked. Checked exception do not include this class and these classes. The exception classes which are derived from runtime exception class are called unchecked. Like this. Those 3 checked. These 5 unchecked. But not only 3 and 5. Thousands are there. Thousands. Okay. No. See, these are checked exception, these are unchecked exceptions. These are checked exception, these are unchecked exception. Now, in our program, which exception occurred? Number format exception. Number format exception is a unchecked exception. Is it compulsory to handle? No. Why? Implicitly system handled. That's what, no need to handle. Now, here, in this program, system implicitly handles all unchecked exceptions. That code already written, implicitly present. That's what no need to handle by us. Okay. Now, this is dot to string implicitly. Like that only, try catch blocks implicitly present. It will handle. So actually, what is the code was there? Just you observe. Try catch runtime exception RE system.err.println re.toString like this. Now, in this line, number format exception occurred. Assume whenever number format exception is occurred, then automatically number format exception object created. New number format exception object created. Like this object created. This object passed to catch block. Now, here by default implicitly runtime exception will be there. Now, in these two classes, which is superclass, which is subclass? Runtime exception is superclass. Number format exception is subclass object assigned to superclass reference. Upcasting. With upcasting feature, it is handled. Okay. Now, suppose array index out of bounds exception. Which is superclass, which is subclass? Superclass. Array index exception is subclass. That is also handled. SQL exception. Is it handled here? No. Because SQL exception, runtime exception, there is no relation. That's what checked exceptions are not handled. Checked exceptions are not handled. So, there what will be there internally? This class name is there. What it will handle? This class handle, this subclasses handles. But these classes not handled. That is the reason those classes we have to handle. This type of catch block is implicitly present. Okay. This catch block implicitly present. It can handle only unchecked exception. That is the reason other exceptions we have to handle. But suppose implicitly if it is like this, it is better, no? All will be handled. All will be handled. But problem is memory wasted. In this program, SQL exception never occurs. SQL exception nothing but database connection. Interrupted exception never occurs. Multi-threading program. Multi-threading is not there. Database connection is not there. That type of exceptions, if it is handled also, memory wasted. No? That's the reason. Which are general, those are placed in one category. Which are specific to program, separate category. Two categories divided. If all are done by system point of view burden. If all are done by programmer point of view burden. That's what responsibility is divided. First of all, you should know about try and catch blocks. Now, I'll explain. Now, examples of try and catch blocks. Examples of try and catch blocks. Note down. Try. Catch. Examples of try and catch blocks. Now seeing the hierarchy, give me answer. Will it handle SQL exception? Will it handle IO exception? It will handle all exceptions because it is all exceptions are subclasses of exception class. Write this one. This catch block handles all exceptions because all exceptions are subclasses of exception class. This catch block handles all exceptions because all exceptions are subclasses of exception class. This catch block handles all exceptions because all exceptions are subclasses of exception class. Whatever you write there, that class handled, that subclass is handled. Whatever you write there, that class handled, that subclass is handled with upcasting feature. That is the reason here all exceptions are handled. Reason all are derived from exception class. Okay. Suppose if you write try catch block like this, it will handle all, everything handled. Okay. Here, whichever class you write, that class handled, that subclass also handled. Subclasses, if you write upcasting, subclass object assigned to superclass reference, that concept is called upcasting. With upcasting feature handled. See, further upcasting, downcasting many times comes. Is it over? Suppose second one, if I write here runtime exception, what it will handle? What it will handle? All unchecked exceptions. Write this one. This catch block handles all unchecked exceptions because all unchecked exceptions are subclasses of runtime exception class. This catch block handles all unchecked exceptions because all unchecked exceptions are subclasses of runtime exception class. This catch block handles all unchecked exceptions because all unchecked exceptions are subclasses of runtime exception class. Whatever you write, that class handled, that subclass is handled. I written runtime exception. It will handle all subclasses. All subclasses are called unchecked. That's what I given like that. Is it over? Suppose if I write like this, What it will handle? What it will handle? All it could handle IO exception and its subclasses. Write this one. This catch block handles IO exception, IO input output, IO exception class and its subclasses. This catch block handles IO exception class and its subclasses. This catch block handles IO exception class and its subclasses. Is it over? Now, if I write this one, what it will handle? Interrupt exception and its subclasses. Write this one. This catch block handles interrupted exception class and its subclasses. Now, I'll ask one question, give me answer. I want to handle IO exception and interrupt exception. Then what we have to write? What we have to write? Then what will happen? Not only these two, all handle. Okay? That's what one new concept introduced. We can write pipe symbol or bitwise OR operator is there. That is you can write. Is it over? If you want to handle only two, not all. Suppose if you write exception, all handle. I don't want all. I want multiple. So like this you can write. It is multiple exception with single catch block. Okay. Next, write this one. This catch block handles IO exception, comma, subclasses of IO exception, comma, interrupted exception, and subclasses of interrupted exception. This catch block handles IO exception, comma, subclasses of IO exception comma, interpret exception and subclass of interpret exception. Is it over? See, whatever you write, that class handled, that subclass is handled. If you write more than one, that class, this class, that subclass, these subclasses. No, not only two, one more pipe symbol, one more exception also you can write. So multiple exceptions with single catch block, this concept. So here IO exception handled, subclasses of IO exception handled, interpret exception handled, subclasses of interpret exception also handled. This is all handled. Okay. Next, write this point. This concept is called as handling multiple exceptions with single catch block. This concept is called as handling multiple exceptions with single catch block. This concept introduced in JDK 1.7 version in 2011. This concept introduced in JDK 1.7 version in 2011. This concept is called as handling multiple exceptions with single catch block. This concept introduced in JDK 1.7 version in 2011. So previously this concept was not there, later came. Previously only exception, no other option. But later this concept introduced 1.7. 1.7 or 7 we can call. Is it over? Now, suppose here in this program, how many predefined, see, this type of try-catch block implicitly present. This type of try-catch block implicitly present. That's what it will handle only unchecked exceptions. This is implicitly present. Now see, file, save. Java C demo.java. Java demo 1020. 10 by 20, 0. Java demo 10 to 5. Java demo ABC XYZ. Number format exception. So, like this implicitly present. Okay, like this implicitly present. Write this example. Here, which class toString called? That is, but this is another toString. It is runtime exception I written, but in that class toString not there. That super class exception, they are also not there. That super class throwable. So it is throwable class toString. If object class toString is called, as code comes. Here, throwable class toString method is called. That toString is string class. That is already know. Throwable class toString definition called. This out and ERR difference also I'll explain further. Out ERR. Out ERR object references. That is further I'll cover. So here string class toString method called. Here throwable class toString method called. ToString method many places are overridden already. ToString. ToString many places it is overridden. Now any exception reference you pass, throwable only called. Because in all other exceptions, throwable toString is not there. Is it over? Now you observe in this program, this is implicitly, this is implicitly, this is implicitly. In this program, how many predefined methods are there? 3. What are those? ParseInt, println, toString. ParseInt method in which class? Integer class. Will it throw exception? Yes. Which exception? Number format exception. String class toString method. Will it throw exception? No. Println method. Will it throw exception? No. Okay. That means how many exceptions are there in this program? Only one. That is checked or unchecked? Unchecked. Is it compulsory to handle? No. Because system handles implicitly. That's what no need to write try catch block. No need to write. But not only one exception, more than one exception also may be present. It doesn't appears. At the time, actually, as a programmer, then you will identify with library and different ways of execution. If I don't pass any parameter, one more exception occurred. If I pass 10 0. One more exception occurred. Like this, testing people, what they'll do, different ways they'll test. At the time, some exception may occurs like this. Okay. Some are identified by programmer. Some are identified by testers. Those people also will identify. Actually, what we'll do while writing program, always you'll try to write error-free program. When programmer will be happy, if error is not there. When tester will be happy, error comes. Because tester duty that one only. Okay. Tester, he will identify errors only. That is duty that one only always. So always programmer will think to write error-free program. But tester, he'll identify errors. Like that, total how many errors are there now? 3. One is identified by programmer, 2 identified by tester. Because that program different ways they'll test. At the time, 2 more occurred. Total how many exceptions are there? 3. 3 exception. One is array index out of bounds exception. One more arithmetic exception. One more number format exception. Something by 0, infinite. Infinite we cannot store in a integer. In this line exception. That is called arithmetic exception. Okay. One more array index out of bounds exception. Here, if we don't pass arguments, then what is the array length? 0. If 0 is there, 0 also error. Length is 0. Length is 0 means index range is 0 also error. This in this line also error. Total 3 exceptions are there, but 3 exceptions are unchecked exceptions. No need to handle. No need to handle. But I given one more point. All unchecked exceptions are handled by programmer explicitly to display user-friendly error message. Why user-friendly error message? I'll explain. Suppose here you will execute like this. This is occurred. Which exception occurred? Number format exception occurred. Okay. Actually, we have to pass integer format. I passed string format. Number format is wrong. That's what exception occurred. Instead of this message, if you want to display user-friendly error message, then we have to write the message. Why do we need user-friendly error message? Say, for example, one supermarket application. Assume one supermarket application. One supermarket people, they are maintaining their transactions manually. They want to make it computerization. What they'll do? They'll go to one MNC company or they'll go to one Java programmer. They'll give their requirements, whatever they require. Then they'll develop project. Project they'll complete. Project is completed. They didn't handle unchecked exception. They completed project. After completion of project, the project is operated by operators. This programmer is not going to sit in supermarket, no? So operator will operate. Okay. Now they'll explain how to operate. They'll explain year, enter, date. You'll get a daily report, monthly report, year, annual report, or stock details, item number, item name, quantity, price, total, grand total, something you'll explain. Operator is going to operate. Somewhere he has to enter item number. By mistake, item name entered. What will happen? Like this comes no. It is number place, name entered. That is only this came. Exception in thread main java.lang. Number format exception. Will you understand? What is exception? What is thread? What is main? He doesn't know Java. Operator Java required? No. Operators just English knowledge enough. How to type. Typing knowledge, English knowledge enough for them. Then seeing this error message, what he'll understand? What is exception? What is thread? What is main? What he will understand is our project is not developed by programmer properly, they'll understand. Okay. So actually this mistake also is there. He has to pass item number. But what he'll think, project is not developed properly, he'll think. It will happen. That's what. Instead of writing this message, displaying this message, you handle. Display simple English message. What you can do, one try catch block you can write. One message you can write. Please pass item number. Then what will happen? By mistake, if you pass item name, it is handle. Please pass item number message comes. Then he can understand. That is the reason we have to handle, we have to display user-friendly error message. Okay. We have to handle, we have to display. But why Java developers not given simple English message? Why they given like this? This Java not only for supermarket. Okay. Suppose if already please pass item number is there. Bank application, what will happen? Account number will be there. Again, there will be a message. Please pass item number comes. If it is insurance company, policy number will be there. There also, please pass item number comes. That's what they didn't write. You write. If that whatever message is there, that is a common message. That is the problem comes. That is the reason they didn't write simple English message. They given this one only. You handle. If it is bank application, write message account number related, bank related. If it is insurance company application, insurance company related. Supermarket is there, supermarket related. That is programmer duty. Okay. Sometimes what will happen? All exceptions, one message required. See, for example, ATM center. There, different errors may be there, but one message comes. Service unavailable, temporarily out of service. This type message only, no? Because if other message comes also, no use. They cannot solve. They cannot solve, no? That is the reason. At the time, one catch block with exception, everything handled. Problem may be, whatever it may be. Message is service unavailable or temporarily out of service. Common message for all. That type we are to write. How to write? We'll see tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see continuation.